All right, today we're gonna be checking out the Adidas Freak 6.0 padded receiver glove. So these gloves are a little bit weird because they were supposed to come out at the beginning of this year and they were really hard to find. I couldn't find them on Adidas website and the colorways were kind of all over the place, but now they got them stocked and now we can finally give you the full review on these things. So these are the Adidas Freak 6.0, the follow-up to the 5.0s right there. Now from Adidas, this is what you'd call their big skill option, meaning a glove that you could wear for a variety of positions in the middle of the field like linebacker, tight end, quarterback, running back, and maybe some linemen if they want to try it out. Today we're talking about things like comfort, fit, breathability, grip, price, style, and what positions it's best for. So these gloves are closer to like a skill glove than an actual true big skill glove. And that's mostly because of the very little padding that exists on them, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the comfort and fit. Now overall, the fit on these things for me is a little bit weird, but I experienced really similar things on the Adizero 13.0, their skill position gloves. Now, even when these things are done up, you can see I find they're really loose on the back of hand, but also really tight in the fingers. And it's definitely not a sizing issue with the back of hand because the fingers fit really tight. So I don't think I could size down even if I wanted to. As far as the fingers being tight, I don't see it as an actual issue. I actually think they are tight, but they are very comfortable. They've even taken the grip and kind of wrapped it around the fingertips here to basically encapsulate that padding on the inside, which gives it a really tight fit around your fingers and means the gloves are not going to turn over on you when you're trying to catch the football. Now, I think it makes them really sturdy. I think it makes them really durable. I just wish the material on the back of hand was a little bit tighter and these would be an amazing football glove. This is something I noticed on it when I was doing the B-roll for this before. Because of how loose the back of hand is on the tight, you can actually slip these things all the way off, which means I am a little bit concerned if you made a tackle or you fell down during a play that these gloves could actually come off your hands even if they are done up. So not in love with that. Now, if you are watching this video, I'm assuming you're comparing this to two other gloves on the market, the Nike Superbad 6.0s and the Cutters Gamer. Now, compared to those, these feel a lot more lightweight, really tight on the fingers, just like the Superbad. Superbad, again, same thing, just a little tighter on the back of hand. All right, next we're gonna talk about breathability. Now, these could be either the most breathable big skill glove on the market or the least. I'll explain. So these could be the most breathable because the padding on the back of hand is really small, which means they're gonna make it easier for your hands to breathe. Also, because the material on the back of your hand here is super breathable and there is no pad here, means it's gonna have the most breathability of any big skill glove with the remission of this pad. However, I can already feel my fingertips are getting warm because like I mentioned earlier, they encapsulated the entire fingertips in this grip material. So it's basically grip all the way around, then surrounded by padding, which means these gloves have zero breathability on your fingertips and I'm already feeling it. Really breathable palm, but fingers are gonna be warm. All right, these are a big skill glove. Let's talk about protection. All right, so these are traveling very close to the line of me not even calling them a big skill glove and just calling them more of like a padded receiver glove or something that would make it denote that it's not the same category as like your Superbads or your Gamers. And that's just because the amount of protection on this glove is pretty limited. You do have this peanut style pad that goes all the way down in your hand here and down your knuckles. And because it is so thin, they're not even worried about perforations. You can easily bend your fingers with these pads, even without those breaks in it, which means the padding has to be pretty thin to still give you that amount of dexterity. Like I said, there is also no pad on the back of hand here, which I think is an issue. Now, if you're a tight end or a running back or any big skill, you're holding a football, you're gonna be holding it like this, right? High and tight. And that means if you're gonna get hit, someone's going for the football, where are you gonna get hit first? Right on this back of hand. So I think not having this pad on the back of hand, but having pad on the fingertips is a miss. I see this as a big area that someone's gonna hit in with a face mask and you're gonna feel it. And I also think that's why gloves like the Superbad and the Gamer still have pads on the back of hand because that is still probably one of the areas that you need it the most. Basically, I'd be fine if these gloves didn't have pads, but if they didn't have pads, they would just be the Adizero 13. So I'm not really sure how you look at these. Basically look at it as a skill glove that it's nice to have a little bit of padding. All right, next thing we're gonna talk about is grip. Now, grip is one of my least favorite categories to talk about, especially with receiver gloves, because Nike has their own grip, Adidas has their own grip, Cutters has their own grip, Grip Boost. All these different companies have their own proprietary grip. And every time you talk about one grip and say, out of the box, it feels great, or you're experienced with it, you have 10 other comments that say the exact opposite thing, and no one can agree. All I can say is that this has Adidas Grip Tac grip. I find it is a really good grip out of box. It has decent durability, and I think it'll last you a full season. Just keep it clean, take care of the gloves, and you'll like the grip. All right, one of the last things we have to talk about is going to be style. And from a style perspective, I really like these. Now, big skill gloves generally have like a little bit more of a restricted color palette from like a skill glove, but not as restricted as a lineman glove. So where skill gloves will have 15 different colorways, I think these have like 6. So you have the white, gray, royal blue, navy blue, maroon, black. I think that's it. Where the skill gloves will have your greens, your yellows, your oranges, all those ones. And then the lineman gloves will just have black and white. So for a big skill glove, it is on par with every other big skill glove with the colors offered. I also don't hate the big 3-stripe life on the back, but I think it would be nice if they put some pads inside those. I think that'd be an easy win if you incorporated those two things together, the same way they did with the Nike logo on the Superbads. Okay, so next thing we're gonna talk about is price, and it's a little confusing here because on Adidas website, they're $65, but on Dick's Sporting Goods and Champs, they're $55. So I'm not quite sure where there's a $10 difference. Also, each site has their own different colorways available, so maybe that's part of it as well. Adidas does have more colorways, so I guess if you're willing to pay a couple more bucks to get the colorway you want, maybe just go to Adidas website. We'll link it down below. Either way, the Cutters Gamer are 55 and the Super Bad are 60, so it's right in the wheel well. All right, last thing we're gonna talk about is gonna be positions. So these ones are tricky to me because I feel like if you're recommending a big skill glove, the big thing for me is the pad on the back of the hand. I don't think I could recommend these for a tight end or running back because I think you're gonna miss that pad if you are getting tackled. So I think I could really only recommend these for like a linebacker, safety, any defensive position where you're not as worried about that, but you want a little bit of padding. You could also recommend these for like a center, again, who are not as worried as much about the back of hand, but want a little bit more on the fingers. So if I was gonna recommend these for anyone right now, it'd be for a lineman that wants like a receiver grip with a little bit of padding, nothing on the offensive side of the ball, so no tight ends, no running backs, no quarterbacks, and you can wear them on anything on the defensive side of the ball. All right, that's it. That's all I got.